The People's Champ, how Deion Sanders Jr., Eric Dickerson, and Boog Knight united behind Shedeur Sanders as Kevin Stefanski faces the Heat. Introduction: the rookie who refuses to break. Few NFL rookies have faced as much drama before their first real start as Shedeur Sanders. A quarterback once projected as a top 3 draft pick, Shedeur's shocking slide to the 144th overall pick became the most polarizing storyline of the 2025 NFL Draft. Now, just weeks into his preseason debut with the Cleveland Browns, Shedeur's story has transcended football. From Eric Dickerson's Collusion bombshell to Deion Sanders Jr.'s viral People's Champ message, to the blistering defense from Boog Knight, Sanders' saga is no longer about draft stock. It's about how one young quarterback is reshaping the NFL conversation with resilience, humility, and defiance. And looming over all of it is Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski, caught in the crossfire between league politics, fan hope, and his own roster management. Eric Dickerson's bombshell: the NFL conspired against Shedeur? The spark that reignited this firestorm came from NFL Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson, who claimed on air that he had direct confirmation from an NFL source. The NFL told teams, "Don't draft him. Do not draft him. We're going to make an example out of him." And this came from a very good source. It was an accusation of collusion at the highest level, implicating not just teams, but Commissioner Roger Goodell himself. The allegation reverberated through social media, sparking outrage among fans, former players, and even analysts. The NFL, already wrestling with credibility issues, now found itself under fire for allegedly blackballing a player not for his talent, but for who he was and the attention that followed him. ESPN icon Dick Vitale went as far as to publicly declare he was rooting for Shedeur, joining a wave of voices supporting the young quarterback. The league may have hoped the narrative would die quietly, but it did the opposite. It fueled a groundswell of sympathy for Sanders. The People's Champ, Deion Sanders Jr.'s 3-word rallying cry. While pundits debated conspiracies, Shedeur himself didn't take the bait. Instead of issuing fiery rebuttals, he quietly went about proving people wrong in his own way. One evening in Ohio, Shedeur was spotted at a grassroots football matchup between St. Ignatius High School and Avon. Not only did he soak in the atmosphere, but he took reps on the field and, more importantly, invited kids from the sidelines to join him. What happened next was pure magic. Dozens of young players swarmed the Browns rookie, eager for a moment with the quarterback they already saw as larger than life. His older brother Deion Sanders Jr. captured the scene on Instagram, captioning it with just 3 words: backhand index pointing right, the People's Champ. It was a perfect distillation of Shedeur's growing reputation. Despite being labeled arrogant during the pre-draft process, Sanders once again demonstrated humility, accessibility, and a sense of belonging to the people who needed him most. In an era where athletes are often criticized for being out of touch, Shedeur leaned in the opposite direction, embracing his role as a symbol for fans who felt overlooked, just like he had been on draft night. Resilience on display, midnight training, and preseason fireworks. Shedeur's response to adversity hasn't just been about optics. It's been about work. Just last month, fans caught him in a midnight training session, running drills and workouts when most of his teammates were asleep. It wasn't a PR stunt. It was the kind of obsessive dedication that makes legends. That dedication paid off. In the Browns' preseason clash against the Carolina Panthers, Sanders threw for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns on 14 of 23 passing, leading Cleveland to a dominant 30-10 victory. And when asked about it afterward by Cameron Wolfe, Sanders didn't bask in the glory. Instead, he grounded himself. "I'm playing for the people who don't have a voice." He even modestly graded himself a C+, vowing to improve further. That humility, paired with performance, has begun to chip away at the narrative that Sanders is all flash and no substance. Boog Knight's fire, taking aim at Kevin Stefanski. If Shedeur has taken the high road, his agent has chosen the opposite. Boog Knight, head of operations at Young Money APA Sports, the agency representing Shedeur, has become one of his loudest defenders. Knight has been relentless on X, not only defending Sanders against out-of-context criticism, like Dylan Gabriel's infamous entertainer versus competitor remark, but also directly challenging those responsible for his draft slide. After Dickerson's comments, Knight blasted the league and hinted at Cleveland's own mishandling. They're never going to admit they were wrong, and that he's the best QB in the class. They'll find a way to shift the credit to everyone else except for him, and refuse to acknowledge that he's been ready from day one. They'll give credit to everyone except him for his elite play. Knight's frustration wasn't just aimed at the NFL establishment. It was a subtle but sharp shot at Kevin Stefanski. The Browns head coach passed on Shedeur at number 5 overall, instead drafting defensive tackle Mason Graham. He doubled down later by selecting Dylan Gabriel. By the time Cleveland reluctantly took Sanders at 144, their QB room was already crowded. Tonight, that decision wasn't just confusing, it was insulting. A crowded QB room, Shedeur's climb. The irony of Sanders' situation is almost Shakespearean. Drafted late into a 6-quarterback room, he's had to climb past layers of competition just to get noticed. Joe Flacco, the veteran placeholder. Kenny Pickett, injured but still considered part of the long-term plan. Dylan Gabriel, Stefanski's personal draft choice. Tyler Huntley, a steady backup presence. Deshaun Watson, technically still the $230 million man, albeit sidelined. Shedeur was supposed to be an afterthought. Instead, his preseason flashes have sparked a movement. Now, the narrative has flipped. Fans see Sanders as the future, while Stefanski is left juggling egos, expectations, and his own job security. The Browns gamble. Hope versus hesitation. The Browns' decision to draft Sanders late wasn't just a personnel choice. It was a gamble on perception. They wanted his talent but feared his spotlight. They valued stability but underestimated the fan base's hunger for excitement. Now they're trapped between two realities. Fans see Sanders as the savior. The coaching staff sees him as a rookie project. That tension is unsustainable, and unless Stefanski manages it with precision, it could tear the team apart from the inside. What this means for Shedeur Sanders. For Shedeur, the equation is simple. Every throw, every rep, every fan interaction becomes ammunition in his fight against a narrative that has been weaponized against him. His brother calls him the people's champ. His agent calls him the best quarterback in the class. His critics say he's failing the NFL's tests. Which version wins out will depend on one thing: performance. If Sanders continues to produce, on the field and in the community, the NFL won't be able to ignore him. And if the Browns mishandle his trajectory, they may lose more than a quarterback. They may lose their entire fan base's trust. Conclusion. A rookie bigger than the game. The Shedeur Sanders saga isn't just about football anymore. It's about politics, perception, and perseverance. Eric Dickerson's collusion claim revealed the NFL's darkest whispers. Deion Sanders Jr.'s People's Champ message reframed Shedeur as a hero of the people. Boog Knight's defense ensured the conversation wouldn't fade quietly. And Shedeur himself? He just kept working, training at midnight, taking reps with kids, and humbly calling his own success a C+. For Kevin Stefanski, the warning signs couldn't be clearer. Mishandle Sanders and he won't just lose a player, he'll lose the locker room, the fan base, and maybe his job. For the NFL, the stakes are higher still. Because if Shedeur Sanders proves he was indeed a top 3 talent all along, then the league will face a question it can't answer easily. Backhand index pointing right, why was he almost left behind? Until then, Sanders isn't just a rookie quarterback. He's exactly what his brother said he is, the people's champ.